Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, Law Murray on your TL, and I'm going to tell you now. This is the 2023 NBA Epitome Game Series, where I pick out one game from each team from the last regular season. I am putting the spotlight on the biggest weakness of the 14 teams that missed the playoffs and the biggest strength of the 16 playoff teams from the regular season. This installment features the Milwaukee Bucks. This was the first season in more than 20 years where no teams won at a 60-game rate. The Bucks came the closest last season with 58 wins, but they only won one playoff game as the top seed in the East. It was an abrupt end to another strong regular season for the Bucks, finishing fourth in defensive efficiency. The epitome game for the Bucks came at Toronto in the first week of January, a game that was already featured in this series due to the pitiful shooting of the Raptors. This time, I'll feature the defense of the Bucks that made scoring difficult for the Raptors, especially inside the arc. Toronto missed their first 15 shots to begin this game. This is the 15th attempt, a spot-up Chris Boucher 3 that got Brook Lopez out the paint to contest. The Raptors only made 2 shots in the entire first quarter out of 23 attempts, both of them layups after Brook Lopez left the game with foul trouble. Precious Achiuwa being in the game allows for Brook Lopez to remain in his drop position. So Achiuwa sets this screen, Lopez is dropping, Anunoby gets into the paint, but he gets his shot blocked from behind by Giannis Antetokounmpo. The identity of the Bucks defense is that they're not going to force turnovers, which means that they're not letting you get to the free throw line. You're not getting corner threes. You're going to have to shoot your threes above the break. You're not getting to the rim if you're inside the arc. You're going to have to shoot floaters in mid-range. Fred VanVleet sees a lot of space for the mid-range, also sees Brook Lopez and Giannis Antetokounmpo in the paint. He pulls up and misses short. Now, in the preview of things to come in the playoffs, the Bucks did put on a masterclass of how to blow a 21-point lead with just over 3 minutes to go, and partly because Scotty Barnes started to attack Brook Lopez aggressively, this basket cut it to a 3-point lead, and the Raptors would force overtime. But in overtime, the Raptors missed all 5 of their shots outside of the paint, 4 of their 6 shots in the paint, including this Gary Trent Jr. miss with Brook Lopez roaming the paint, and the Bucks would hit the game-winning 3 on the ensuing possession. The Bucks played on the second night of a back-to-back without Jrue Holiday or Chris Middleton in this game, and Giannis Antetokounmpo had 12 of Milwaukee's 26 turnovers. Toronto attempted 28 more shots than the Bucks, but the Bucks held the Raptors to only 32.8% from the field overall and only 23 of 49 in the paint. Only the Grizzlies had better rim protection or allowed a lower field goal percentage than the Bucks last season. After the Bucks melted down in the playoffs against the eventual Eastern Conference champion 8 seed Miami Heat, Mike Budenholzer was fired as head coach and replaced by former Toronto assistant Adrian Griffin. But the core of the team is intact for one more run after Middleton and Brook Lopez were re-signed. It will be interesting to see how Griffin builds his defense around Antetokounmpo, as the Raptors and Bucks played entirely different styles on that end of the floor. Stay tuned for the next installment of the 2023 NBA Epitome Game Series featuring the Atlanta Hawks.